in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge God, and he will direct thy path. Welcome to Testimonies with Ackeem Smith, the show that brings transformation, miraculous and inspiring stories across Jamaica. Today with me I have Dagae Robinson, who is here to share to the world what God has done for her. Her story reminds us of Job, because Job lost everything, but despite of the fact that he lost everything, he remained faithful to God. Miss Robinson,
yes, sir.
Welcome to Testimonies with Ackeem Smith. Let me first say thank you for accepting the invitation to be on this show.
You're most welcome, sir, and it's a pleasure to be in here.
Indeed. But let me first ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm fine.
I can see that.
I'm good.
I can see that. I want you to use 3 words to describe who is Dagae Robinson.
Wow, 3 words. So, a loving person.
Yes.
Always caring for others. And very brave. A brave.
Very brave.
Yes.
Wow.
A brave woman indeed.
I like that.
Yes, those 3 words describe who I am.
Yes, yes, yes. A very brave woman. What is your favorite scripture, and what does that scripture means to you?
Oh, my favorite scripture is Hebrews 11 and verse 1. Faith is the evidence of things not seen,
Yes.
but the substance of things hoped for. That is my favorite scripture. I have that written on my heart because of what I've been through, and still hoping for what to come.
You're still hoping for what to come, and I'm declaring over your life that whatsoever you're hoping for, God is going to allow it to come to pass.
Amen.
It will. I declare that God will manifest it in your life in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. But this show is a show that allow persons to come and share what they have been through, right? And so you would have told me earlier that you lost your husband, you lost your house, you lost so many things, and you know, but at the end of the day, you're still here. You're still looking strong. You're still looking as if you gone through nothing. I want you to go into it and tell us where it all started.
So I grew up in a small district in St. Elizabeth, Mayersville. I grew up with my grandmother and 3 other siblings.
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but my mother, she wasn't living with us, so
Yes.
you know, she was elsewhere. But as I was there growing up, I was yearning for the love of my mother. Not saying I didn't get attention from my grandmother, but as the only girl in the house, I wanted more.
Yes, yes.
So we grew up in, our life wasn't, you know, that it was very poor.
Yes.
But we grew up in church. My grandmother was involved in the church, and we had to attend Sunday school every Sunday. And you know, and I get baptized at the age of 8.
Yes.
When I get baptized, you know, I was young, and you know, you go to church with grandma, and grandmother said, you know, God is calling, so you answer to that call. So I did, and you know, by the time I was in the church, you know, at my age wasn't nice for me, so I said, sure, let me see what going out on the other side, right? So I got pregnant at the age of 13.
13, wow.
13.
Tell us about that.
That's bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
It's a bittersweet. Imagine at the age of 13, this man have robbed me not only of my joy, but of my childhood and what I wanted to become in life, and the support that I was expected to get from him. No, so it have not only hurt me, but caused a lot of pain. You know, and people in the district looked down on me.
Wow.
People didn't ask me what happened, but they judged me.
Yes, yes.
They judged me so bad, it started to get to me. And, you know, I can remember I run away from home. I left to go, and
Can I ask a question? How old was the guy at that time?
he was 36.
36, and you were 13.
I was 13. And I left to go and stay with my uncle in Manchester. But when I reached there, his wife figured out that something was wrong with me.
Yes.
So she boiled some bush and gave me a good amount of bush and said, have it.
Yes.
And it's like somebody speak to me and say, do not drink that bush. And I throw it out and I packed and left again back to St. Elizabeth. When I went back home.
So, Quest, are you from the parish of St. Elizabeth?
Yes, I am.
Me too. Come on, St. Best in the
Nice,
building.
good. So,
Yes.
Right. And I went back home. When I went back home, my mother is like this. You know, she go get down on me, and when she find out what happened, she did come down on me, even though I wasn't living with her. She come down on me, which at some point in time I find myself hiding. So I wanted to even run away. You understand? And I went through a rough part.
Yes.
Rough part, and I didn't get the support that I was expecting, but I managed. I managed to overcome.
Yes, yes.
And I fall down hard. Can't afford to take care of the baby.
Wow.
Problem at my home with my mother.
No support from her?
She come around, but she was angry. She was bitter at me, you know. But the connection wasn't there as a mother and daughter for her to sit me down and to even take me through the process, ask me about what happened, you know. So she was always coming down at me. So at that age, I decided to go and look for a job. When I delivered, I was 14. So when I went to look for the job, I was about 16, 16, right? And I can remember I went and asked for this job. And I got the job, and I was working in a small area where, you know, cash pot machine and bar and all. And I was there working, and I don't know what happened, but something changed within the boss. And because he was always looking at me, right? And the boss wife fired me. And I ended up back home with that child with nothing.
So the boss wife fired you
because
for no reason?
She found out that the man was, you know, like the man have wanted to have something with me. So
her husband.
Right, so she decided that she's going to let me go, and she did. And I went back again searching for a job. At this time I was 17, struggling, you know. And I went to this company. At that time they were doing digital pole all around Mowat Construction. And I went there looking for a job, and when I asked for the job, the first thing the gentleman said to me, he was a supervisor at that time, for you to get this job you have to get involved with me. And I remember I left that child home with nothing, and that baby need to be cared for. And I said okay. And I agree with him to have something with him in order to get the job. I've got the job, and I have worked day 1, day 2, and the third day there was this incident on the site, and this gentleman come on the site with a backhoe. So you know, I go through a hole at then, and me left figure work, but I find myself in some bad company at work. I mean bad company, and I was there smoking and, you know, on the site, and this gentleman come, and he was there looking at me, but you know, me not pay him no mind. I say, man, it's not for me right now. I'm not even, because of my experience, I don't even want to be involved. But him come over and him say, you know, me like you. And me I go want to be my wife. And pay him no mind.
How old was he at that time? So you were 17?
Yes, and he was about 30 something. Yes. But you know, he was big in body and chopped in, and I was small, you know, thin, and you know. But he just come out and say, I'm gonna need you.
Yes, yes.
And I wanted to be my wife. And he started to tell me the things them that he wants with me, and I'm here. Me say, Chow, you're all right.
Yeah.
You see, that day, while I was at work, I was so hungry because I didn't have money to even come to work.
Yes.
Me have to boom drive to reach on that side. So I was hungry, and it's like he was looking through me to see that I was hungry. So he said to me, you want us to go and have lunch? Being as I left that child with my grandmother warned me. She said to me, I am not sending you out there to get involved with a man.
Right.
I'm sending you out there to go and work.
Yes.
And if you get involved with a man, I am not going to stay with this child anymore. So that continued playing my mind.
My God,
but anyway, I was hungry. I was dying of hunger. So I decided, so okay, I'm going to take the lunch.
Right.
So he went and he bought me that lunch. But did that lunch enough for me? No. I would have wanted a next one. So he's, you know, he kind of looked through and said, I was so hungry.
Yes. Oh God,
so he said to me, say, do you want the next lunch? But because of pride, I said no. But the space was there to take that next lunch. And we have a talk, and he said, can I have the number? And the thing was playing through my mind that my grandmother have taught me leaving home, and I said no. And he said, where do you live? I said, underneath a rock stone hole. Do you want to join me there? And he said, I don't have a problem. And you know, him find out said there is things going on with me, so him offer me bus fare to go home. And I took the bus fare because I didn't have, you know, and after some time, me and him work together. Me decided, say, okay, this guy look like, and I'm in a situation that I needed help.
Yes.
I was desperate, you know. So I said, okay, I'm going to take him up on his offer. And, you know, I started to talk to him, communicate with him. And he said, I want to come home with you.
Come home with you.
Come home with me. To where?
To your granny yard.
Okay, so things have happened and I have to left home.
Yes.
I end up in a small house in the area. I didn't have any bed. So I got a mattress and I put it on the floor, and I was there. But my grandmother still decided to keep the child while I was working. So eventually, my mother, there was a bed bottom at home. She tell me, say, me could have the bed bottom and put the mattress on it. So I decided to carry home this man with me that evening. And I journey home with him. But while I was going home, the saying keep on playing back in my mind that my grandmother have taught me. Don't go and look a man. So I went home with him and he didn't ask me for, you know, that night.
Yes.
He just want to see where I was living and what I was going through. And that have me thinking, you know.
If this man is good.
If this man is good. And waking up the morning, my brother them kind of send something, so them I the man shoes. Because them find out, so me bring home the man, so them I the man shoes. They were teaching him a lesson not to come back because they don't want the drama with grandma, you understand? So when him see that, him I wonder, said, you know, what happened? Why my shoes can't be fired? You know, and eventually me get back in shoes and we went back to work, and the following week him get P and him say, we're gonna join together and I am going to teach you how to become a woman.
Wow.
And he did. You know, all the necessary things that I would have wanted for that room. He bought it, the fridge, you know, a little stove. He went all out just for me to be comfortable. And yes, when the time come down now for me and him, you know, that moment, it was a bittersweet because I have that experience down the line, and I didn't want to even go back there. But, you know, we have that moment and things begin to get better for me and him. All right, so we will have 1, 2, 3, 4 years of relationship going on, and you know, I got pregnant with my son, a son for him, and he was so excited because you know, he might become a father now, and you know, and he treat me well. That people in the area look up to him. People respect him. You know, people honor him. People always call him Mr. Wallace. You know, because of how him come and just transfer my life from being this poor wretched girl to, you know, me can have a proper meal now, and him treat my daughter with so much love. She never lack of her father.
Awesome.
And that man sit me down and said to me, I don't want you to even go back to that man to even ask for nothing, because you see, every time I go to him, me have to lick out him window or something. Me and him have to have a fight or you know, disagreement and all of that. So him tell me never to go back, and I didn't go back. And things begin to get rocky for him. His job go down, and you know, him can't fend for us anymore, and we have to end up go back up and my grandmother go live. So you know, my siblings them are there, my grandmother are there, but my grandmother loved him. Anything happen, I get the wrong, he's always right, right?
Yes.
And my grandmother looked up to that man, and we went back up there, and you know, things begin to get really bad. And him not working for good 6 months. Him at home not working, and I decided, say, okay, I'm gonna, you know, see if I can get work so I can able to balance out the thing. Right. At this time I'm here with 2 kids. Right, and he decided, say, okay, I will go and look the work. So he went out and he was working on a farm in Manchester, bushing, and you know, and I think my mother wasn't satisfied with how it all was going. You understand? So my mother was a little angry. I think so my mother would come down and she would have get angry in the morning, and you know, I couldn't deal with the anger. And every time me and my siblings would go at it, warring at the house, and there was no peace.
God, no peace.
And my grandmother always said to me, say, why you don't try to look ahead? You need to come out. But I would always say to her, say, I don't want to even leave you. I don't want to go far away from you. But she said, I am fine. You need to go and find peace. So it happened that, say, a little altercation go down between me and my mother, and she tell me to leave. And I have to leave. Leaving St. Elizabeth, I thought I was coming.
We're in St. Elizabeth.
Myesville, All Valley. I thought I was coming to St. Catherine in a land of opportunity where better would have been for me here than then. But better didn't come.
Turned to worst.
I left with the kids them. I was now with 3 kids. My baby was 6 months, and you know, we journey here to St. Catherine. And coming to St. Catherine, we end up in a little area. His grandfather have a house, and it was only 1 room, so we decided, so we're gonna take it and live in. I come here, I think I come to St. Catherine March, and my grandmother took sick within that area that I left. And my husband, and not my husband at that time, he ends up got back his job, and you know, start to care for us in the right way that he should, and he wanted to have a big family. I didn't, but he wanted to have a big family, and the life that he was offering me at that time, I was so comfortable. So I said, okay, he want to have kids, let me give him what he wanted. So I ends up having babies after babies after babies after babies, and he was okay with it. As I said, he was the perfect gentleman, a perfect father, an understanding man, a man that don't talk, you know. He would have hummed if I offend him, he walked away. He was that type of man, so I didn't have any problem with him. So we were there,
and that's fair, it's fair.
Right, we were there getting along, living our life. You know, he treated me so well. I didn't lack of anything. You understand? So I don't know what transact within me and his family. I think he was doing too much for me, because sometimes when he come home, because of the kids, them, you know, him come and him wash him, cook him, clean. He was that type of and he did it all. So I think they was upset about all of that. So they start to have issue with me.
Wow.
You know, I wasn't that perfect woman for him anymore.
Wow.
So things start to get a bit sour, bitter. And I can remember he always left and go work at least a month or 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away and come back.
Yes.
So when he left one of this time and leave for work, when he come back, I can remember he got a call from his family to come and visit, and he went. When he got back home, he was, you know, a little bit edgy. So I said to him, what's wrong? He said to me, I got some news and the news wasn't pleasing, knowing I know you. So what is going on? And he started to tell me, oh, they said I have 10 men. And he started to name 10. He started to name each one of them. You know, there was a little corner shop that I used to, you know, go and get any little thing. And I can remember when I just came to the era, this driver, he's from where I'm from, St. Elizabeth, so we know him. So he asked him, whenever she wants to go to the supermarket or whatever, take her and let she get familiar with the era. So because he's transporting me back and front, show me, they said I am involved with him. So listen now, you see the daughter that I come here with, I came here with, she was 6 months when I came here. They accused me, said that daughter is for him. And I up here, me come back, come meet him, you understand? So my life started to get bitter, really bitter. And I can remember they tell my husband that I was involved with this man for the corner shop. That man have his baby mother with the same name, because they call me Dagae. And they hear say, oh, this man and Dagae is getting along, so they say it was me. So they went and they tell my man, and my man hit me so bad. Yes, he hit me in Old Harbour Town, that a policeman stand up over the station and watch him hitting me because he was so upset.
Yes.
And he went home, leaving me in the town. And I went home, but while I was heading home, I was so nervous because I didn't see he get that angry. So I was saying, Lord, me dead now. I am dead. You know, so while I was heading home, I called the 2 friends what we have. And I said, oh, no, better come now because Wallace are going to kill me. And she asked me what happened, and I tell her, and she said, what? And them come and the gentleman said, let me call the person and ask the person. He said to me, Dagae, if you are involved with this guy, tell me no. Because if I make this call, and he said, yes, I am going to allow Wallace to kill you. And I said, believe me, I am not involved with him. But no one believed me. So he went and he put the phone on speaker and he made the call, and the gentleman said, no, my baby mother named Dagae. So people get it wrong. My man, he felt it so bad, knowing that he hit me innocently in the town. Wow. And he said to me, what can I do to repair the damage that I have caused? I said, you can't. You can never take back what you have done already. How were you feeling that time? I felt so horrible, so shame. I didn't go back in the town for a while, right? And it kind of shifts the love that I have for him. Now I'm looking, he choose whatever his family say about me and not what I was doing, right? So our relationship gets so bitter. But let me tell you, his love for his children never changed. That's good. And you could know, say we were having difficult time, because if you have visit us, we pretend like, you know, everything you could know everything is okay. We never argue. The kids them never see us have a disagreement, but we have disagreement, and we know how to deal with it. Never to let the kids them. Grandmother, I lost a mother, one who nurtured and cared for me. So things begin to, you know, affect me. And my relationship didn't get better. It started to get a little edgy. Okay, so after my grandmother buried and thing, my brother decided to journey from St. Elizabeth to come and live with me in St. Catherine. Okay, so we are now in the same one room Okay, so I said to my husband, listen, he's not my husband at that time. I don't know why I keep saying. Right, so I said to him, all right, you know, you have the cement bag, why you don't bring home some and let us do a little thing around the back, and then you move into that and let the kids them stay.
Yes.
So we do a little thing at the back of the house, and we move into that, and we're so comfortable.
Right.
Because me growing up so poor, I didn't make anything, affect me. The smallest of things, I'm okay with it.
Yes.
So, right, so I was so comfortable. And things begin to get bad. I got sick.
Wow.
Yes, I can remember after I give birth to Janelle. And let me tell you something. You see, when God is in the midst of your storm, your ship will sail.
Yes.
Because when I gave birth to Janelle labor pain was the rockiest and the roughest.
My God.
She couldn't deliver. And let me tell you something. Janelle give me postnatal depression. I didn't even want to touch her after having that child.
Yes.
And it affect me, and people in the area say, oh, she's getting mad, but nobody know what was going on with me.
Yes.
And I can remember people encourage my baby father at that time to take me back to the hospital, and the hospital decided to say, oh, I am going to send her over, to where they send those people to over there. And somebody have spoken to him. He left me there, He left me there, and I was waiting for them to transfer me up to that ward for me to get better. But it was the postnatal depression I was going through. It was affecting me from the labor pain that I have went through. So somebody has spoken to him and said, go back for Dagae.
Yes.
Dagae don't deserve to go there. You go back for her and take time out and carry her through the process. So he did that.
Yes.
And he took me back home, and let me tell you, I went through some rough, edgy time. And I have my friend, she live at the back. Her name is Michelle. She come and she assists me with that child right through. And people laugh at me in the era. People talk about me.
Wow.
People look down on me. But God is still there with me. God never left my side, and I went through that. As I said,
you were Christian at that time?
No.
Oh, okay.
As I said, I got sick. After that child, there was some damage to my cervix, and I didn't even know about it, but there was a tear to the cervix, and it was left there. And after going to 6-week clinic and all of that, I started to feel some drastic pain going down about a year. After I find out say I was really sick.
Wow.
So I decided to go and do some tests, and after doing those tests, I realized I have cancer of the cervix, right?
Cancer of the cervix.
Cancer of the cervix. You see, that word, it's a big danger. It's a, once you hear that, it's a gonna lick your mind. And it did. I cried. It not only damaged me emotionally, it damaged me physically as well. And let me tell you something, the man that I expect
to stand
with me, I don't know what chance that, but I heard him on the phone. He was talking to somebody on the phone, and that person encouraged him. You know that she is sick, left her.
Oh my God.
And he did.
The good man,
The good man, he did left me with cancer of the cervix stage 1, and he went. But the good thing about it, I don't know if he was afraid to face it, but when he left, he sent me to the best doctor. I get the best cared from him. He worked and encouraged that I was well taken care of, and there at that time my mother has to come back up to St. Catherine to be there, because a lot of kids, and I'm going through a rough moment, and I was there doing chemotherapy, and I started to lose my ear. And I can remember when the pressure of after doing the chemo, it damaged my system so bad. Cause remember, the chemotherapy it also fight good cells and bad cells. So while I was there throwing up and passing out and whatever, my mother, she couldn't take it. She couldn't deal with it, and she was there praying to God, asking God to help me out of it. And I felt it so much, and that encouraged me to push, and I fight through that cancer. And my baby father didn't show up. I didn't see him for at least a year.
Oh my God.
And I fight through. At that time, he was busy getting a next woman pregnant, and
So I want while you were experiencing the whole cancer situation, was he there for the kids? He was still there for the kids, or
no, he wasn't. He never come. He never come around. He said he couldn't deal with it. The fear of him seeing me going through all of that. But he sent the financial support.
Okay, good.
He support us to the fullness.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Right? And after I went over that journey, I crossed that journey, I met this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I met this guy and finishing, you know, my sickness.
So you were healed from the...
Yes, I was healed, you know. I went and I laser whatever was there after chemo, and I am free now, and I'm...
To God be the glory.
Yes, to God be the glory, and I'm back on track and looking nice. So, you know, me met this man, and this man say, okay, me like you and thing, and me I say, since as my baby father show me one side, why not, you know, try something, and I start to date him, and, you know, him start to push out some nice interest, and it caught me right there. But was he the man that God want me to be with? Oh no. And I ends up get involved with him, even moving from where I was living to a house that he provided for us to be. But let me tell you something, the relationship got so abusive.
My God.
It got so physical, I have to fly back to where I'm coming from. And I have to fly back to my baby father. Because, you see, I was looking for something. Even now, I'm still looking for that thing I thought I knew. But how can I be looking for something that I don't know what I'm looking for? I was looking for love. Because I didn't get it, you know. So I was searching. So once I met a man and a man say, oh, I love you, I kind of feel, you know, and I want to feel that love. So that's what he did to me. And he showed me that he loved me, but he didn't. I ends up get pregnant for him.
Wow.
Yes, man. And the judgment of everything I go come down on me now, you know, because me get pregnant, me gone back to my baby father, don't know who the child is for. So when the family find out say I'm pregnant, you know, I was with this man, so they come down on me again, hard on me this time. It was too hard for me. And you know, my baby father sit me down and say, listen, whatever it is, we are going to deal with it, because I am the one who caused it to happen. I walk away from my family, so I am going to fix it. But was the family willing to fix it? It was a no-no for them. And let me tell you, they bish me. And let me tell you, in an era that you have no support, nobody to embrace you as, you know, a young girl, I was in my 30. I am still in my 30 because now I'm 35. You know, and I'm looking for that support that I didn't get it. And heading down, me ends up have, you know, things going through my mind. Why am I here? Do I deserve to be here? Why does God create me? And why is he allowing me to go through all of this? You know, all of that. And even though I went through all of that, I still ends up go back to being messy. My God. Let me tell you, after everything, my husband, after he went out and get the child, I get the child, we decided to say, okay, we're going to patch things up. My husband got sick. My life story.
What age was he at that time?
He was about 44. He got sick. He said he was at work and he went outside and have a fall. And he didn't tell me about it, because as I tell you, he's this type of man. He was always working to take care of his household. We were never in need of anything. So he was there, even though he was going through a lot of pain, he was still there pushing. You know, he have to go out to provide for his family. So when I found out that he was sick,
my God,
when I tried to catch it, it was a bit too late. I went to my bed and I have a dream. And the dream was that he was going to get sick. And they were going to throw us out of the house. And in my dream, I saw them throwing us out of the house, putting some big padlock on the door. And I went and spoke to my neighbor and my big daughter about it. And they said, what? And I said, yes. 2 weeks down the line, I get another vision. My husband sick so bad, but we were heading through Flatbridge in the vision. And I can remember the car broke down on Flat Bridge, right in the middle of Flat Bridge. And I come out and go around to his side to see if he was doing okay. And I opened the door and took him out, asked him to stand up, go back around this side. Vision now, you know, sir. And while I was heading around this side, this big crocodile come up out of Flat Bridge and beat him right across his side. Took off the down part and left the up part on the bridge.
Wow.
And I jumped up out of my sleep and I spoken to my neighbor again about it, and he said, Dagae, this don't look good. This is not a good sign. Trouble is at your gate. And I didn't take it, you know. So my husband began to, he was my husband. He might get down to the husband part. He began to get sick, real sick. Now I am spending 18 years with this man, you know.
Wow.
Not married as yet.
18 years.
18 years, not married.
Wow. Yeah.
And a lot of kids. And he is sick bad that him can't walk. Now I was pregnant with the last child. And I have to be moving him from this era to the next era.
Yes, yes.
You understand? So imagine what I was going through at that time.
Yes, yes.
Soon have baby and he was sick, can't walk. Down here, so God not to complete. If he has to move, I have to embrace him to move his foot. And let me tell you something. You see the support that I was looking for from people that say they loved and care for me. The support wasn't there. I has to end up in social media to go because hungry start to get the best of us now, you know. And I has to go out to look help. Not only for me and the kids them, but also for him, because he had was to do a surgery on the spine because he has damaged his spine for him to be able to walk again. And I went out in social media begging for help. For him to recover, because death was a no. I wasn't gonna accept death. Okay, and I went out and people saw the story and people reach out, people assist us with food. But the support that I was yearning for was for family to be around me. My mother come when she can and she helped me out, you know. But I couldn't allow my mother to do the things that I have to do. So during that time, my husband said to me, say, are you willing for us to get married? No, and say, I want to get married from a long time down the road. So I wasn't looking at it, say, he's sick, don't get married to him. So I decided to say, okay, I am going to get married. Janet and Dwayne was, you know, his co-worker. We all met during the company, so we are friends, and they invite us to go to church with them in St. Ansgar. Janet is this type of person. She believed in Wally so much because, as I tell you, the type of person he is. So she said, I am going to fight with prayer for this man. So she took us to church, and let me tell you something, and reaching the church that Sunday, while the pastor was asking my husband to surrender his heart to God, I was there interceding for him on his behalf.
You weren't a Christian at that time. Were you a Christian?
I was. I did get baptized, but we never married. You know, but because of what happened to him, we weren't having, you know, that thing, right? So when I went to church that Sunday, I went so deep down. Asking God to take him out of whatever he's going to, release that pain, help him to come back to be the father that I know he is. So he asked me to marry to him, and I said yes. So Janet, knowing as, you know, she arranged the wedding so fast, in 2 weeks.
Wow, nice.
We get married, and I have to help them to lift my husband out of the car. And her husband have to embrace him, because, you know, he might show him bridging support. So he embraced Wallace and we get married.
Nice.
But my marriage was never for the best. 2 weeks after getting married, before that, I lost my brother before my husband died. My brother was there living with me, helping
brother
me.
That came from St. Elizabeth to St. Catherine.
He died. Leaving him one Wednesday to go and do therapy.
How old was he?
He was 20. I asked him to stay with the kids them, because he's the one who have to lift him, help me to lift him. We were living up on a hill, so we have to lift him down and lift him back up. And it was me, him, and the kids them have to do all of that. So I left him the Wednesday and said, stay with the kids them. He wanted to go to the river with his friend, and I said no. and he hid and he left, not knowing that leaving therapy I was going to be in a bit of sweet.
Yes,
when I got home, I asked him, they said they don't know where he is.
Wow.
And night come down and I got a call. I was on the phone with my mother and I got the call and my mother overheard the situation. When I got the call, the person said, Dagae, it was my neighbor. You know that your brother went to the river with his friend them and them can't find him. Let me tell you something, Pastor. It rocked me so hard. My mother is on the phone, you know, and she said, Dagae, what happened to my son?
Yes.
I said, I don't know. I tell him to stay and he went to the river. I am going to look for him. And my baby was just 3 months at the time. I went out to look for him. And when I went out, rain a fall, you know. You know, me just give birth. I'm not supposed to be out in the rain. But let me tell you something. God have anointed me for that journey. And I went out, me, myself, my big daughter, my son. Because they can swim, I can't. And my daughter was involved at that time with, you know, she was seeing somebody. We went out, 5 of us, 6 of us. And when I reached at that river, it's not an easy journey reaching at the river, because we have to go down some deep, you know. When I reached down there, the rain was pouring down. And the water that was coming down, I know at that time, it wasn't possible.
My God.
But I left with hope, believing that he has licked his head somewhere and end up on the banking. So I said, okay, when the water drop, then, you know, maybe we can find him. So my daughter, my son, and the gentleman went swimming, they swim, looking for him, but no result. We went home with empty-handed. Now my mother reached St. Catherine from St. Elizabeth.
The same
the same night, and we have to end up to report it to the police at Olaba. While I was there, my mother was asking, Dagae, where is my son? I can't answer her because I don't know. But the pain of, you know, she's asking, I know what she's feeling at that time. And we look for him day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. I can remember I went to my bed and I got a vision. And in the vision, it was him saying to me, he was showing me this sign. I am right in between the rock.
Wow.
I am down in between the rock. And I went and I tell the Olaba police, and they were really. And believe me, he was down there. When they find him, he was stuck in between the rock and his body was in a deplorable condition. He was decaying. I couldn't deal with it. My daughter, she went and she looked. I can remember my brother death wasn't the ordinary death, because him call out JDF, the helicopter have to fly. You know how much you have to come out to look for him, and they did find him, but for me it was okay for them to find him, but it left me with this pain. And I can remember I hear my daughter crying from miles away.
My God, yes.
And when them come up with my brother that evening, seeing, knowing that my brother is this small, fine guy, when I looked and I saw them coming up with him, I start to run. I aim for the area to get out, because I said I can't deal with this. And I run. Didn't remember that I am crossing the main road. I don't remember who held me that day, but the car was coming and I was heading straight into that car, because I can't deal with what I am seeing coming up. 6 JDF soldiers, I bring him on the stretcher, and he was this big, not, you know, and I'm saying that is not him. And let me tell you something, losing my brother, it ripped me apart. Alcohol become my best friend.
My God, wow.
Because I can remember when the lady hold me that evening and she bring me back, she said, Dagae, go and look, because this is going to kill you. This young man leave St. Elizabeth, come here to live with you, and now this happened, you need to face it. You are going to kill yourself. And I can remember the funeral director said to me that evening, come and just venge out what is going on with you, because I can feel the pain of a mother. And I was there just screaming, shouting, running. I was going on because it was too much. The smell, it was too much for me. And I drank myself to sleep every day, every night, to shun the pain that I was going through. And it ripped my family apart, because my mother keep on asking me, where is my son? And I can't give her the answer to what happened to my brother. And 2 months after burying my brother died off of the same bed where my husband was on. I can remember my husband went to sleep asking me for no food that evening, and I give it to him, the fried chicken and the drink, and I gave it to him, not knowing I was sending him off. And he went to sleep.
That was 2 months after.
That was 2 months after. My brother buried October, my husband died December.
How did you deal with that pain? How did you cope with everything?
Let me tell you. When I took my husband to Maypen Hospital, I left him there and I left a word with him. I said to him, you need to fight this, because you have me, that I always look to you. I have nobody else but you. If you don't fight this through, what are you gonna do? What am I going to do with the kids, them, myself? And I always depend on you. And I left Maypen Hospital the Wednesday. Thursday I went back there. The Friday the doctor sit me down, and the doctor said, your husband is not doing so well. But I have faith in God. I believe that God is going to pull him through. So I started to talk into the Lord. I said, God, you're not going to carry us come this far. Because we have just got married, you know. 2 weeks ago we have just got married. I got married in November, and my husband passed off December.
My God.
So imagine newlywed wife hoping to have some fun with her husband. And on that Friday night, I can remember leaving the hospital. The last word that come from my husband's mouth was, whatever money you have, I want you to buy each and every one of the children something and tell them it is coming from Daddy.
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't know that it was his last. When I get home with everything that he required, the bicycle, the truck, everything, I went and I bought it. And I head home. I can remember my neighbor was keeping a party, and my neighbor asked me to come and eat something, because I think my neighbor was feeling something that I wasn't. And my neighbor handed me the food, and while I held that food in my hand, my husband's face just appeared to me. And I hand him back that plate of food, and I start to make my way up the hill to go home. And reaching at the door, my phone was there ringing. I was saying, okay, I'm not going to answer this private number. Did know that it was the hospital calling me.
My God, yes.
When I did answer the phone, let me tell you something, sir. The doctor said to me, Miss Wallace, because I become Wallace at that. Miss Wallace, I am calling for you to come back to the hospital. There is a emergency with your husband that we need to see you. And I said to the doctor, is my husband okay? She paused on the phone, so I know right there that something was wrong. I messed myself right there. Everything come down on me. And I was there banging on the plywood. And I was saying, God, where are you? Do not put me back through this. I don't start to even mourn me, brother. Let's move here. Go back through this. And let me tell you something. I didn't even see my brother. I don't get closure to even close his chapter, because even now, I'm not sure if he is the one that they pull out of that river, because I didn't get the opportunity to even look at him, and that damaged me. It hurt me so bad. And I have to deal with all of that, and moving on to dealing with losing my husband. When I went to the hospital that night, the sheet that I just bought leave there, I saw the head of it was tied.
My God.
And the foot was tied. And I just kick off the slippers, and I aim for that door, and I started to run. I run down the whole Maypen Hospital, because I couldn't deal with it. And when my mother catch me, she said, come here, the doctor need to talk to you. So come. So the doctor carried me in a room, and the doctor test the pressure first. The doctor said, listen, I am going to give you some medication and then we are going to talk.
Yes.
And the doctor give me that medication and the doctor look and say, your husband, he was doing great, but the sugar and the pressure, it was going and it burst the blood vessel in the head. Listen me. When the doctor said that, I kicked the chair. I can remember I kicked that chair and I aimed for the door. And let me tell you, I wasn't crying for myself. I was crying for the kids them.
Yes, yes.
What am I going to tell them? Wishing I heard my son and my daughter was discussing one day, say, if nothing happened to mommy, it was nothing for them. But if something happened to daddy, they would have killed themselves. So hear me, how am I going to go home with all of this while I was there rolling, screaming? They were going through my mind. And let me tell you something. It damaged me. It ripped me. It pulled me apart.
Seeking therapy?
No, and let me tell you what I went through all of that. I let alcohol become, as I tell you, I did it with my brother and I went back doing it with my husband. I didn't have time for the kids then, man, because the pain was so much.
Yes,
I have to be drinking. I sat down and I drink quart after quart after quart.
My God, yes.
And I cried. And let me tell you something, 3 days after my husband passed, I got a call from one of the family member. And that call, it drive me into suicidal thought. Not only for me, but for me and the kids them, because I wasn't going to leave them behind. And it was about the land that my husband have purchased. We have been hungry in order for him to start to pay for that land, because he have bought back the land and the house from his grandfather. So we are now in a bittersweet now, you know, because me just left from Palo go sign up document, hearing that my husband knows that land didn't belongs to who he buy it from, because my husband grandfather have willed the land to his adopted daughter, so she sell us that land, right? So my husband only owe 50,000 on that land. And let me tell you something, sir. The thoughts of losing my husband was so big. The thoughts of losing our home was even bigger, because now we are on the street. Not only with me, you know, but the kids them are going to be on the street. So I was there saying, okay, fine. So the person was asking me to get the documents and to give it to her. All right, and it never end well. I can remember the man from Olaba News called me to check up and us, and to all the family them come down at me. The man from Olava News was on the phone and he was hearing how they were behaving, so he did a story on that.
My God, yes.
And the story went out. The story went out, but was it for my good? It was for my bad. I have to leave that house. Leaving that house, I didn't know where I'm going. There was this house down at the bottom. When you stand up, you look up in the air. And I decided, say, I am going to take it no matter what. And people come on board and help me to fix the top and whatever. And we move out. When I was leaving that house, I said to God, whatever you are doing, do it your way and not my way. You are pulling me out of this. You are going to give me back what I have lost. And let me tell you something. When I was mourning my husband, there was nobody from the era to even embrace me. I can remember it was only this lady, can remember the whole family come down at me now, you know, and I was accused of killing my husband right in front of my kids. It not only ripped me apart physically and mentally, but it also ripped my kids them apart, and it sent a tension between me and the kids them now, because daddy was their favorite. So my kids them start to pull away from me. At that time I needed them so bad. Even though my mother could have come and she was there with us, I needed the support from accusing me of killing my husband, wishing, well, I was taking good care of that man. There was nobody there. His family, even if they would send something, the support that I needed for them to even help me, to even say, Dagae, take today and let me help you, to even lift him and so. it was never there.
But because knowing the fact that you even have the baby.
Right.
Oh my God.
But as I said, I was pregnant while I was lifting him.
Oh,
I was
Lord.
pregnant going to therapy. I was pregnant. And I have to go through all of that.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. You see, when I was accused, the people them in the era, they hit me with it. They looked down at me. I didn't get the support, so I have to lock myself in. Remember, I was going through grieving, you know.
Yes.
For losing my brother in the same era, and also my husband out of the same house. So Jerry and nephew and all the liquors, them you can become my closest friend, my best friend. And I don't know how my kids them battle it out because I didn't even have time to take care of them.
Yes.
They have to fend for themselves while I was going through that moment. And let me tell you something. You see, God's grace and His mercy, it is sufficient for those who seek in Him. And because God have me for a purpose, He allow me to sit down and to go through all of that. And let me tell you something. I can remember I said I am going to cook that last meal for everybody in the house because I couldn't deal with it. You see, after burying my husband, I can remember I got some money from the company.
Yes.
Pretty much a 500,000, and when you finish a funeral package, you have nothing left back. And after burying my husband 2 weeks, I can remember I owe bills. Nothing for me and the kids them, and we went back to being hungry.
My God.
Nothing to eat, nobody to even say. And you know, my mother would have offered us, but the little that my mother would have to offer, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And then, you know, the kids them to go back to school. My daughter has finished older but with 7 subjects and just sit at home. And then my son would have, you know, gone off to high school, and my kids them are very intelligent and very brilliant. So hungry was becoming our next best friend. And I can remember I said, God, I am sorry, but I have to do this. I can't sit and allow my kids them to be hungry. So I am going to take each and every one of us life and allow us to go and rest. And I can remember I was there preparing that meal. I was there preparing that meal, and it's like God was there with me saying, no, I am only allowing you to go through this in order for you to have a testimony to share with somebody out there. And I can remember I cooked that food, but I did not share that food because I was going to, you know, whatever, with all of us, and I did not. So
you plan to cook the food,
right?
And to put poison in the food.
to get rid of, yes, because that's where I was. I have the baggage of pain and sorrows I couldn't bear.
My God.
And let me tell you something. I can remember a party was skipping, and I said, okay, I go try the party. And I went to the party. It was my friend party. And when I went to the party, you know, man, the party see me, and the man said, okay, I like you. And I said to the man, say, listen, sir, I didn't come to this party to look a man. I come to say me can find some food for my kids.
My God, yes.
And the man said, what you mean by, so what happened to your baby father? And I said, I lost him, and I lost everything with him. I even lost my feelings and my thoughts and my mind. I said, he took everything with him. So right now I'm just trying to look something for them. And the man said, really? And the man said, tell me a story. And I tell him, and he said, you have to take me to that house tonight for me to see that you are going through this. And if you are going through it, I am going to help you. And he did. He went and he introduced me to this gentleman. His name is Mix Up Boss. And Mix Up Boss hear the story, and him come immediately. And Mix Up Boss do the story. And let me tell you something. I think my sorrows was going to end there. Social media bash me. My God. What are you doing with 8 kids at your age? And you never know, say this, and oh my God, let me tell you something. That helped drive me crazy. But out of all those bad moments, this one good thing come out of it. I can remember I offer on social media to give up my kids them for adoption. Instead of doing away with them, I said, okay, I am going to give up. I said, anybody on this platform want to be a parent who really would have taken care of these kids, contact me.
Yes, wow.
And the story go out. And let me tell you something, as so comes we get food to eat, because people come on board and say, okay, we are going to help this family.
Yes.
And I can remember out of that I met this lady, and she would have at work, and she called me and she said, my name is Anne-Marie Walker. And let me tell you something, you are not going to give away one of those kids.
Yes, that's right.
And I said, Miss, what are you talking about? You know when me I go through? You know, I have rent to pay, all of that, and nothing, no money. And how am I going to take care of 8 kids with not a job? Because I can't leave them alone to go and work. So how am I going to do this? Me say, if you don't have nothing good to say, yeah, man, don't bother me. She said, listen to me. I am going to call you back in the evening when I left work. I want you to listen to me. And she did call me back, and she said, let me tell you something. I don't have it. I am struggling, but what I went through in America allow me to want to help you. And she said, I am going to help you. And she come on board, and that lady changed not only my life, but she also taught me to walk with God. But let me tell you something, when the gentleman come to do the interview, nobody know that my kids them were that brilliant. And I can remember he asked my daughter to spell a word, and my daughter just go at it at that. And when she spelled the word, it go out, and people say, okay, I'm gonna help them to go back to school. Right? And let me tell you something.
My God.
People pour in and give clothes, give food, assistance to go back to school. And this lady, she fly down from America to come and meet us. Remember, you know, I am searching for something that I don't know, you know. So this lady now start to show me what I am searching for.